This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
What's up?
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? The Knicks play tonight. And believe it or not, folks, this is actually a big game for the Knicks. And I know you guys think I'm crazy. We know that the Knicks are out of the playoffs and all of that stuff. But for RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, Immanuel Quickley, this is a big basketball game because they're going up against the elite Kevin Durant, Kyrie, Irving. They're going to get a chance to show that they can perform against elite players in the NBA. I got Tony Crow with me. I got the Queen Steph with me. We're going to break this one down, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, what's poppin' with you, man?
What's going on, Sim? It's been a minute. I'm glad to be back. Shout out to the chat. Real Black is time. Queen. Peace, Queen.
Yeah, Steph, what's up?
Appreciate you, Sim, Tony. I'm looking forward to this game. It's been 2 days without a basketball game, and we got to savor this last week.
Exactly.
Because that's it. We're going to be without games until what? September? Well, I guess if you count Summer League.
Summer League. We'll get 6 or 7 Summer League games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And then we'll be and then normally you got Summer League and free agency going on at the same time. We were looking at the dates the other day, and it said free agency's not starting until August.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's a little bit different. That runs right into training camp. You know what I mean? So, it's going to be a little bit different, but we got a lot of content that we're going to be getting through.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So we got a couple of games left. I'll be at the game in Washington on Friday against the Wizards. So that should be fun. But it's a big one tonight, though. The Brooklyn Nets, they're playing, what are they, in the 8th seed right now?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe they're in the 8th seed. They're playing to stay in the 8th seed, right? They don't want to drop down to the 10th seed because if you're in that 9th or 10th seed, one loss and you're out, right? If you're in the 8th seed, 7th or 8th seed, you get 2 tries to get in. You know what I mean? So there's some importance there. And then for RJ, Obi, and Quickley, this is big for them to go up against Kyrie and KD. You know what I'm saying? No Randall there, no Derrick Rose there. You know what I'm saying? It's big for them guys to show and prove that they can compete against the elite players in the league. You know what I mean? Tony, what do you think about tonight's game? Muted.
Excuse me. I agree with you. I think it's important as a measuring stick for the young guys on the Knicks. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, the Nets, it's a value game for them. Like you said, they're trying to stay in that 8th seed. Like I just mentioned off air, this is the first time KD and Kyrie will be playing together against the Knicks at the Garden. So I know they're gonna have something to prove, and they're gonna want to show off some put a spectacle or a show on for the Garden. So I doubt they come in taking the Knicks lightly. They're probably gonna come in trying to end us early. So I think I agree. A big game for us to show where we are and what these guys, how these guys measure up against the NBA elite.
Right, and just what you just said about it being a big game for the Nets, that makes it that much more competitive. It makes it that much more interesting for the young guys. You know what I'm saying? Because they're playing a team that they're not resting anybody. They're coming out serious. They know that they need to win this basketball game. You know what I mean? So the pressure's going to be on. Steph, how do you think they can handle it?
I mean, I think our team is going to be okay. I don't think they're going to fold. Even if they lose, it's not going to be for lack of effort. It's not going to be because they didn't go out there and play hard. I think the other thing to add to it is if IQ and Obi plays well, does that add more to the fire when it comes to the front office and the decisions that they have to make this offseason if they perform very well against Brooklyn? And vice versa if they fall flat on their face.
True. Right. And yeah, I think it definitely does because the matchups, like Obi's going to be matched up against KD.
Oh my God, Sam.
I was looking at the lineups, right? And there's almost no choice but for Obi to be matched up against KD. There's almost no choice, right? So let me go through the injury report quick, and then I'm going to get to those lineups, right? Looking at the injury report for the New York Knicks, Miles McBride, he's questionable tonight with a sore knee. Quentin Grimes is questionable with a sore knee. And you see everybody else, Julius Randle, Cam Reddish, Nerlens Noel, Derrick Rose, all those guys are out. All right, for the Brooklyn Nets, I mean, for the most part, well, Goran Dragic is out. Joe Harris is out. Ben Simmons, of course, is out. Right? They haven't played with Ben Simmons yet, so it's hard to say, well, that's a big piece because he hasn't become a piece yet. Goran Dragic, I think that's a big piece. And, of course, Joe Harris, he's going through ankle surgery. So that's also a big piece. But they got pieces there. Right? They got pieces that they can throw out there on the floor. So that's the injury report. Now let's take a look at the starting lineups. Oh, I got the defensive matchups. Let me go to the starting lineups. Well, it's the same thing, but your projected starting lineups for the Knicks, Alec Burks, Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. And for the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving, Patty Mills, Kevin Durant, Bruce Brown, and Andre Drummond. Now, when I look at those lineups, I don't see how you can have Obi Toppin guarding anybody else because Kyrie is 6'4", Patty Mills is 6 foot, and Bruce Brown is like 6'4", or something like that. Who else can Obi Toppin guard? He has to guard Kevin Durant. I don't see any other options. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think they changed the starting lineup?
Who, the Knicks?
Yeah, probably not.
The only way, I mean, if they were going to...
What about the test for RJ?
You mean RJ guarding Kevin Durant? But if RJ guards Kevin Durant, who does Obi guard?
I mean, Bruce Brown, I guess. I mean, either way, I think it's a mismatch problem.
Right. It's going to be a mismatch problem. See, I think it's probably going to be, I'm going to swing my defensive matchups over here. I think you're probably going to get R.J. Barrett guarding Kyrie. Evan Fournier guarding Patty Mills. Obi Toppin guarding Kevin Durant. Alec Burks on Bruce Brown. And Mitchell Robinson on Andre Drummond.
If Obi wants to shake that tag that he doesn't play defense, this is the game to do it.
That's a tough one. It's a tough one to do it. I'm going to tell you that. It's going to be a tough one to do it because, man, it's the Kevin Durant. It's going to be tough. But you know what? Hopefully he wants the challenge, right? This will be his first time. I think in previous games, he matched up on him for a couple of minutes, but as soon as Kevin Durant got in the game, Tom Thibodeau would go to Julius Randle. Right? So he's going to get his chance. We'll get down there. We'll talk about that matchup. I want to start off, we'll start off with R.J. Barrett and Kyrie Irving. Assuming that those two guys match up, or not that they match up, but R.J. Barrett guards Kyrie Irving. Right? Let's just assume that it's that way. How do you see R.J. Barrett dealing with Kyrie? And then I want to talk about Immanuel Quickley as well, because I think Immanuel Quickley is going to guard Kyrie Irving too. Tony, I'll start with you.
Oh man, I'll be honest, Sam. I'm scared of that. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I think I'd much rather him take the challenge of guarding a Durant, just because he has a strength that can maybe, not saying he's going to stop either one of these guys, but I don't know if his strength is going to be an advantage against the Kyrie, because Kyrie is too quick and savvy and can probably just avoid any type of tech from RJ. So I think it's going to be really, really tough. And I don't even know what is the proper game plan. I'm interested to hear what you would think would be the game plan in RJ guarding a Kyrie, because I mean, he could really kill you from the perimeter, from the mid range, or just get into the basket. You know what I mean? At least with KD, it's like stay in front of him and make him shoot over you. Like if he hits it, you live with it.
Right.
With Kyrie, I mean, it could become an embarrassment in the sense that the guy's like one of the greatest handles of all time in the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm Tom Thibodeau and I put RJ on Kyrie, I'm just like, hey, just play him straight up. Just play him. Right? Do the best you can, play him. Don't give him space, because if you give him space, he can shoot the three. If you play it too tight, he can go past you. So I think you just got to play him. Play him straight up. Don't try no tricks, nothing like that. Just play him straight up. If he goes past you, then people got to help.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you try tricks and doing all these things, Kyrie's too smart. He's going to take advantage of those things. So I say just play him straight up and let the chips fall where they may. I don't know anything else you can do. The only other thing that you can do is from time to time send that trap at him to get the ball out of his hands. But if he gets the ball to KD out of that trap, you might be in trouble too. You know what I mean? So that's a tough one. Steph, what do you think about that matchup, RJ and Kyrie?
I mean, what I will say is I don't think Kyrie is going to be able to guard RJ Barrett either. I think that, one thing that RJ does is he recognizes when there's a little, a shorter guard on him and takes him down in the post. And Kyrie is not going to be able to handle RJ in the post. But RJ is not going to be able to stay in front of Kyrie. I mean, he makes it difficult for even guards his size. Barrett is
right.
like 4 inches taller than him, and Barrett is not a very shifty player as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be a tough matchup for Barrett, but I think he's going to make it tough on Kyrie also.
Right. Unless they put Alec Burks on Kyrie and RJ on Bruce Brown. They could do that, you know what I mean? So that you save some foul trouble for RJ. I know the last time they played, RJ guarded Bruce Brown, Alec Burks guarded Goran Dragic, Evan Fournier guarded Patty Mills, Julius Randle guarded Kevin Durant. The only reason why I have it switched up today is because obviously Kyrie is a much better guard than Dragic. You know what I mean? And you got to have Obi guarding Kevin Durant. I think they'll probably, between Burks and RJ Barrett, they'll probably switch back and forth guarding Kyrie Irving. Now, come down the stretch. Normally, Immanuel Quickley is in the game instead of Evan Fournier. Right? So then you'll probably see Immanuel Quickley guarding Kyrie Irving. How do you feel about that matchup, Steph? Then I'm going to come to Tony.
I feel okay with it. I think IQ's defense has gotten better. It's actually pretty good, and he has those long arms as well. But make no mistake about it, Kyrie is just a different animal. So he's not going to stop him, but maybe with his long arms and the effort that he puts out, that he'll be able to make it difficult for him. I think he'll make it more difficult than RJ. I think.
Yeah. And see, that's a reason why I would go ahead and start Immanuel Quickley today, man. Tony, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
I think I agree. It's a perfect opportunity to start Quickley. Mm-hmm. I think Quickley would be a tougher defensive matchup for Kyrie. Not saying he'd stop him or anything of that match of that nature, but I think he'll make it a little bit tougher. And as far as the head-to-head, I don't think Kyrie would even guard RJ. But if Quickley is starting, I think Kyrie would guard Quickley, and now you can come back at him on the other end of the court as well.
Right.
So whenever that matchup presents itself, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a real test for him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that matchup too. And I think Immanuel Quickley's probably looking forward to that matchup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do agree. I see some people in the chat say that Bruce Brown would probably guard RJ Barrett on their side, and probably right. Probably would guard RJ Barrett. That way Kyrie Irving doesn't pick up any fouls either.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see those matchups. Down to Evan Fournier and Patty Mills. Steph?
Fournier should win this. You know, he has the size on Patty Mills.
Right.
He shouldn't have any issues getting his shot off over the top of him. And defensively, you know, defensively with Patty, I think the issue is you get sucked in on the drive, and then they pass it out to him, and now you scrambling to get back out. I think that would probably be the issue for Fournier. But I don't see Mills putting it on the floor and dribbling past, Fournier one-on-one. I think it's just the closeouts and how far do you venture off of him to stop the drive.
Right. Yeah, I agree there. And see, Evan Fournier is not really going to post up. I wish if he could post up a little bit, you know, you would really give it to him, because then he could just post Patty Mills up and shoot over top of him.
Right.
You know, they've got to send Evan Fournier coming off screens, you know, playing a similar game to Patty Mills, just a taller version, right?
Right.
I think the key here is Evan Fournier on the defensive side, making sure that he's not letting Patty Mills get free, like you were saying, letting him get free and knock down shots. You know, I'm going to go with Evan Fournier in this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it becomes hard when you got Kyrie and Kevin Durant out there. They can help anybody else look really, really good, you know, because so much attention that they draw. And then all of a sudden these other guys are knocking down threes and doing stuff that you haven't seen them do before. You know what I mean? I'm going to skip over Obi and Kevin Durant and come back to that. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to save that one for last. Alec Burks and Bruce Brown. Assuming that Alec Burks guards Bruce Brown, it could be RJ, and Alec Burks could guard Kyrie. You know, I guess either way, Kyrie's going to do his thing out there, most likely. But Alec Burks and Bruce Brown, what's your thoughts on that one, Tone?
Similar to Fournier and Patty Mills, I think the Mills matchup, the Brown matchup, and the Drummond matchup, for us to win the game, we got to beat those three matchups. We got to win those three matchups.
Agreed.
Whomever's matching up with those three guys, those are our advantage points, right? We don't expect anyone to outplay Durant. We don't expect anyone to outplay Kyrie. So these are pivotal matchups to me to win the game. Alec Burks, and Brown's not a slouch in the sense that he's all energy, all game. You know what I mean? So you're really gonna have to put forth effort and execution. And I think we should win that matchup. We should win the Patty Mills matchup as well.
Yeah. Steph, any thoughts on that matchup? Alec Burks and Bruce Brown?
Yeah, I think Alec Burks should win. And like Tony said, we have to win those other matchups in order to have a chance. And Burks has been playing well as of late. So if he keeps that up, I'm confident he can win the matchup.
Yeah. And then we got Mitchell Robinson and Andre Drummond. And I think this is a key matchup right here, because the last game we played in the first half, Andre Drummond was dominating inside. I don't know how and why. You know, he didn't play as much in the second half, although the Nets ended up winning the game, but he didn't play as much in the second half. But he was dominating, you know what I mean? And Mitchell Robinson struggles with Andre Drummond every time he plays him. You know, what does Mitch have to do, Steph? Then I'm gonna come up to Tony to compete with Drummond.
Well, he needs to box out. he gotta keep him off the boards from getting those second and third opportunities. I mean, I think he's gonna make it hard for Andre, you know, on the offensive end as well, because he's gonna go for offensive rebounding, and he's elite at it. So he'll make it hard for him that way. But on that defensive side, he really has to make a concerted effort to keep him off the boards. That means I don't know, Sim, this might be a game where the defensive rebounds might be more important than his offensive rebounds. Because if he gets those defensive rebounds, that's less rebounds that Drummond is getting and putting back.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Tony, does Mitch earn his contract tonight versus Andre Drummond?
I think it's a good opportunity for him. I think Mitch is a guy that kind of takes things personal when guys match up well against him or tend to dominate against him. So I'm looking for somewhat of a breakout performance from Mitch tonight. And Queen, you touched on it already, but I was gonna make you proud if you didn't, because I agree. I think this is one game that the defensive rebounds are gonna be just as, if not more important than the offensive rebounds, because you don't want to give a team of this caliber second opportunities,
Seriously.
especially kickouts for threes when they got those shooters on that team.
Right.
So I think he's gonna have to dominate defensive and offensive rebounds. Everything else will be a plus, but dominate the boards. Try to keep, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, but I would say my goal is to keep Drummond under 15 rebounds, which, 15 is still a lot, but try to keep him under that. You know what I mean? No 20 rebound games tonight. No 15 plus. Under 15, I think we have a shot.
Right. And I've seen Mitch early in the season. Remember, we was talking about how he's rebounded through traffic, and I don't know what happened. Like, he was in traffic getting those defensive rebounds, and he looked really good and strong. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. And I don't know. I mean, he started getting more offensive rebounds. He's really been doing well on the offensive glass. But there are nights when, the Knicks need those defensive rebounds, and sometimes he's not providing them. Now, hopefully Jericho Sims is able to come in and provide that defensive rebounding. How do you see Jericho Sims matching up with Andre Drummond? Because I don't know. I don't remember if we've seen much of Jericho Sims in the previous game they played.
I think he did. I think he did play. That was the game when we was saying, because remember he was running out to the half court to trap KD and then running back
that's
into
right.
the key. That was the game.
That's right.
He gives up a lot of inches to Drummond, but he's gonna get you those defensive boards. So I think he'll do okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to it, man. Obi Toppin and Kevin Durant. That's going to be, listen, Obi Toppin's got to be on his game defensively, you know what I mean, against KD. Here's one thing I think that Obi has over Randall against KD. I think Obi has more length going against KD, right? Randall's 6'8", Obi's 6'8", but Obi's he's just longer than Julius Randle, right? Julius Randle's a little, his arms aren't as long as Obi's. And obviously Obi can jump a little bit higher. Well, not a little bit, a lot higher than Julius Randle. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So do you see those attributes, being effective for Obi against KD? I mean, obviously KD's going to do what he does, but, do you see it maybe being a little bit better matchup? At least on the defensive side, if Obi can stay in front. I don't see.
Right. That's the question. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's exactly what I was about to say. If he could stay in front. If he can't stay in front, that length means absolutely nothing. And I think that's the key. That's the key.
Yeah. Mega BKNY said Evan on KD. I thought about that, right? I thought about Evan on KD. People said skip this one. skip talk about this matchup. I thought about that, Kevin, having Evan on KD, but then I didn't know who does Obi guard if you're putting Evan on KD.
Is there anybody you can hide him on that's not very, involved in the offense?
I mean, you could. I mean, the two choices would be Bruce Brown and Patty Mills. in this starting unit. Those would be the two choices. Bruce Brown and Patty Mills. And I feel like either one of those guys can dribble past him if they get him in isolation. So I don't know. That's pretty tough. Tony, what do you think, man? Obi and KD.
Oh, man, I think Obi might have an opportunity to actually eclipse his career high, and it's gonna take a few things. One, I don't know if there's a scouting report on Obi yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Durant probably hasn't played many minutes against him. There's probably not a scouting report really against him. I think offensively, Obi needs to be aggressive tonight. I don't think he can match KD, but he has to have that mindset that I'm gonna put some buckets on him tonight, and kind of make him work on that defensive end. I think Obi has a couple of advantages on the offensive end against KD with his verticality, his leak outs, and he's gonna have to really go into his bag and show every trick that he has today offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's his best game plan. Honestly, is make shots difficult and then just try to put up as many points against them as possible.
Right.
If you could get him in some kind of foul trouble early or late, whatever it is, you're gonna have to take advantage of every opportunity you get. But it's gonna be an uphill battle all night for him. I'll tell you that. Both ends of the floor.
But you know what? The way that the style of game that Obi plays, it may force KD to have to pay attention a little bit more, right? Because with Julius Randle, he's going to get the ball in a certain area and either go ISO or try to collapse the defense and kick it, whatever it is. With Obi, he's not doing that.
Right.
So it's different. You got to watch him on, catching backdoor alley-oops and those type of things. So it creates, something different for Kevin Durant to have to think about if he's going to be guarding Obi Toppin. Like, they're small all the way around the board. Besides Kevin Durant and Andre Drummond, they're small. So if they put a small person on Obi, they're probably not worried about it as much. It's going to be interesting to see the way that they decide to match up defensively. Now, I seen someone say that they think Obi will probably guard Bruce Brown. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what, Bruce Brown he can play basketball. It's not like he can't play basketball. So it's not like you're gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna put Obi on Bruce Brown, and then Bruce Brown ain't going to do anything. I mean, we've all seen Bruce Brown be able to put up some numbers, too. Obviously not Kevin Durant numbers, and I mean, my thinking is, if you're not going to put, I guess you could put Evan Fournier on Kevin Durant and let Obi, and then if Evan Fournier fouls out or gets in foul trouble, you just come in with Immanuel Quickley. Right, so that's always an option. But he's going to eat Evan Fournier up. Maybe even worse than Obi, because they already talk back and forth to each other. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to be like, oh, this is who I got in front of me? Watch this.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to matter, though, because he's going to do his thing anyway. Because when you look at, the two primary players for tonight's game, RJ Barrett and Kevin Durant, in two games against the Brooklyn Nets, RJ Barrett's averaging 14 points, 2.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists. He's shooting 41.7% from the field, 20% from three, and 87.5% from the free throw line. Kevin Durant, in two games against the Knicks this season, he's averaging 40 points, 5.5 rebounds, 9 assists. He's shooting 46.7% from the field, 22% from three, and 95% from the free throw line. That's what he's done in two games against the Knicks this season.
Are those two games for Barrett after he's coming to his own, or?
I think they're before.
Okay.
I think they're before. I don't.
Don't worry, I can
I
look it
think
up.
it's 1-1.
One
I
and
think
one.
it's
Maybe
1-1.
maybe it is 1-1.
And even the second game, he didn't play up to the par of what he was playing like around that time. I think he had a bad game the second game too, but it was during that stretch where he was playing better.
Okay.
Yeah. But RJ Barrett, speaking of RJ Barrett, well, not obviously we're speaking of RJ Barrett, but looking at what he's been doing since the All-Star, not the All-Star break, since the beginning of the year. And I know these numbers look low, but since the beginning of the year, RJ, and never mind, I don't have it up. I'll get it up there in just a second. But RJ's been averaging 23 points since the beginning of the year. Right? Like 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists. He's still shooting like 41% from the field, though. How do you think RJ fares in this game, Steph?
I think he's going to play well. He's been playing well as of late. So I don't really have any concerns about him, offensively. Whoever they can put on him, who's the matchup? They might put KD on him, you think? If so, KD's length may bother him. But remember, RJ plays downhill. So it's not like RJ is going to be shooting a three or trying to shoot over KD.
Right.
He's going downhill, and he's been doing a great job using his body to shield off the defender and finish it at the rim, which was an issue he had earlier in the year. And I think against, Kyrie is not a slouch defensively when he's locked in and engaged, but I still think RJ is going to do okay tonight. I think he'll hit at least 20.
Okay. In 2022, RJ Barrett, 23.8 points per game, 6.1 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shoot 41.5% from the field and 36% from three. That's in 2022. That's since January 1st. And of course, that's led the team in scoring, not the league. Mm-hmm. Tony, your thoughts? RJ Barrett tonight. What do you think he does?
I'm gonna go over 20 tonight. Keep that momentum going. I think he finishes the year strong. So, and he's due for a good game against them. So, I think he gets it tonight.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a real tough challenge because obviously he's the guy on that bulletin board tonight. So as he's been the past couple of weeks. So it's gonna be a true test for him against some elite guys. And the one good thing is they're not really elite defenders. You could argue it maybe against KD, but other than that, I don't think you can even make the argument that anyone else is an elite defender. So, Bruce Brown maybe.
Okay. Yeah. What do you take from if RJ has a monster game tonight? What do you take from it?
Oh man, I think I think the front office eyes are gonna be opened, and maybe it may change the trajectory of what they're thinking moving forward.
Wow.
I do. I think it's already in that it's leading in that direction anyway.
Right.
I think he's already opened their eyes a lot this season, late this season, definitely. But yeah, if you could pull a monster game off, and I think it also depends on who is guarding him. If he has a monster game and KD's guarding him, I think that's a lot more than a monster game and Brown is on him or someone else.
Right. I agree with you 100%. But just being in a game of this magnitude for the Nets and knowing how the Nets are going to come out, and if he can perform well, if the Knicks can not get blown out, knowing that the Nets are going to come out and perform well, and even pull out a win, they pull out a win, knowing that the Nets are fighting for playoff position, and RJ has a big game, oh man, the world might crumble. Steph, what do you take from it, Steph, if RJ has a big game tonight?
The same. To me, he's continuing to ascend. Mm-hmm. If he goes out knowing that Brooklyn is locked in, trying to secure, a better seeding, or at least stay in the 8th spot, and he balls out, I think it's just, more proof, you know, that he's becoming the guy if he's not the guy already. And when I say the guy, I'm not even talking about him versus Randall. I'm talking about for the Knicks.
Yeah, just,
I'm
right.
talking about for the Knicks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let me get to a phone call here. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing? Do me a favor. Can you turn that down in the back, please?
Yes, sir.
What's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Man, I feel great. How about yourself?
I feel good. I feel good. How you feeling about this game tonight?
I think that Obi will be a good answer for Kevin Durant. And the reason why, he's tall. Obi's fast. I watched every game Obi played in college. I'm talking about every game.
Mm-hmm.
He really is a better defensive player, and he's been playing better. Did you not see his last game? Where he was playing really aggressive defense?
I did, but they wasn't playing the Nets. They wasn't going up against Kyrie and KD. I'm not saying anybody's stopping them, but they were playing Orlando. They wasn't playing the Brooklyn Nets fighting for a playoff position with Kevin Durant and KD. So I think that, I'm not saying that he can't have a good game. I'm not saying that. I'm just, I'm not going to look at the last game and say, you see what he did there? Watch what he does against the Nets. I'm not going to do that.
No, but his running is a disadvantage to the Nets. They're not going to want to run with him. Somebody's going to have to guard Obi getting rebounds, and then going up court, or someone getting a rebound and getting it to him up court. I think that's a great advantage. And also, I think that I just wish that I could talk Tibbs into starting IQ to guard
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, it would be nice. It would be nice, but listen, he's going to match up against him throughout. He's going to match up against him throughout the game, and probably in the fourth quarter. That's when you really want to see what he can do. In the first quarter, the first 5 minutes they're probably going to fill each other out a little bit. Fourth quarter, crunch time. As long as it gets to crunch time, that's when you really want to see IQ guarding Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know how our other guard is going, whether they're going to play him at all. They say he's kind of hurt.
Yeah, he's questionable for tonight, so we'll see if he plays. It's probably going to be a game time decision.
But our kids play well together, and they hustle, and that's half the battle. If we have a hot night, if a couple guys have a hot night, and they hustle and really work hard, it's going to be a close game. We've only lost to them. We lost to them every game, and it's been pretty small margin.
Right. They've all been close games. Of course, the one game we were up by 28 points and, let them come back and win. But they've all been close games.
So, I think we've got a good opportunity tonight.
Okay. All right. I hope so, my man.
See what our guys can do.
What'd you say?
At least see what our guys can do.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna stop.
No, nobody's gonna stop those two guys, but we're gonna see what these guys can do tonight. Thank you for your call. I appreciate your time. We'll see what they could do tonight. Speaking of IQ and the bench, Tony, any thoughts about how the benches match up?
Yeah. I mean, I would probably give the Nets the advantage just because I think our bench is a little depleted right now. We don't even know if we're gonna have Deuce. Grimes is out or questionable as well.
He's questionable. Grimes and Deuce, both of those guys are questionable.
So assuming both those guys are out, I think our bench is pretty depleted. We're talking IQ, Sims, and Taj, right?
IQ, Sims, and Taj, and maybe they bring up that guy from the G League, the dude.
Yeah, they was talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sims, and we got Sims. So, I think, if IQ could come in and give us 20 plus off the bench, that'll be a huge.
That'd be huge. Right.
Huge.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we could expect numbers like that from anyone else on off the bench.
Oh.
You know, maybe Grimes if he's okay.
Right. I mean, you're looking at their benches: Nick Claxton, LaMarcus Aldridge, Cam Thomas, Kessler Edwards. Right. So obviously, LaMarcus Aldridge can play.
Mm-hmm.
Although last night he didn't have any points, but he can play. Cam Thomas, he can light it up at any time. He had 13 points last night,
and he killed us. He was the one that led the comeback and hit the game-winning shot.
Yeah. Did he hit
game winner? But I think he had like the last 12 points for them or something.
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
so.
Yeah. So they got some people that can play off the bench. I think it's going to depend on IQ. And if IQ comes in and plays the way he's been playing, then our bench is should be strong. I don't know. Hopefully Jericho Sims can come in and give us. I'm not expecting a double-double, but give us 6-7 rebounds, 4 or 5 points, something like that.
Yeah.
And then who else? We talk about Taj. Taj, just give us a couple, some just strong minutes. I don't even care about the points. Just give us some strong minutes defensively out there on the floor. And if the other guy comes, what's his name? He doesn't really play. Archie Diacono. He doesn't play unless it's a blowout. But maybe they'll use him a little bit tonight. If McBride and Deuce and Grimes are both down, maybe they'll use Arch a little bit. I mean, he can play defense. I know when he played the other night, he was out there. He hustles. He may not give you a whole lot offensively, but he can definitely play some defense.
Yeah.
Looking at the team comparison, ladies and gentlemen, like my man who just called said, the Nets won all 3 games this season. The first game, they beat the Knicks 110-107. Then they beat the Knicks 111-106. That was the game that they were down. The Knicks had them down 28 points, and then they came back and won. That was right after the James Harden trade. And then the last game, they beat the Knicks 112-110. I believe the Knicks had a lead in that game as well, right? And when the Knicks lost 112-110, I think they had a lead in that game as well. So the Nets 3-0 against the Knicks this season. Looking at the season stats against one another, the Nets averaged 111 points. The Knicks 107.7. The Nets 42.7 rebounds a game. The Knicks 42. 26 assists for the Nets, 25.3 for the Knicks. I mean, they're close in numbers. 7.7 steals for the Nets, 6.7 for the Knicks, 3.7 blocks for the Nets, 5.3 for the Knicks. Low turnovers for the Knicks, 12.7. Even lower turnovers for the Nets, 10.7. The Knicks shooting 46% from the field, 36% from 3, and 88% from the free throw line. And the Nets against the Knicks are shooting 47% from the field, 27% from 3, and 74% from the free throw line. I'm surprised at the 3-point shooting number for the Nets.
Yeah.
Yeah, real surprised at that. We don't want to let them get loose and knock them down tonight, though. You know what I mean? Anything about those numbers stand out? Low rebounding numbers for both teams, actually. I guess it's because, they're shooting well from the field. Anything, Steph, stand out?
Just how close it is. I mean, the Knicks get up for this game, and the Nets obviously do as well. I mean, I'm looking more at the win total. 3 points, 5 points, 2 points. Right? The Knicks really play to win. Now, our team was probably a bit more intact then. We're without Randall. As much as you have issues with him, he's still a big part of what we do. So it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to be able to match that. But yeah, just how close we've played him. I think that's what stood out for me.
Yeah. Tony, anything with you?
Same thing. Very, very even comparison all the way across the board. The biggest surprise on those stats is probably the Nets free throw shooting lower than ours at 74%. That's crazy. I wouldn't rely on that as far as putting them on the line and hoping they miss, because chances are they'll shoot higher than that against us. But yeah, very evenly matched. I actually got a question for you guys. I had an argument or debate early in the season, real early in the season, where I had said, shout out to Freezy, it was on Freezy's channel, where I had said, if we make it to the play-in and then make the playoffs, that's still a successful season. And a lot of guys on that channel, was going at me crazy, like, you saying the play-in's a success, the play-in's a success. But so my question is, who do you think is the biggest disappointment as far as the Knicks, us not making the play-in playoffs, the Nets being a play-in seed, or the Lakers missing the playoffs entirely? Just a random question for you.
Got to be the Lakers for me.
Yeah.
Got to be the Lakers, man. I mean, the Lakers are what, 31-48? They got 3 games left. They could end up being, 20 games below 500. You know what I mean? With 3-4 bona fide Hall of Famers on the squad. And even though some of them are older and not in their prime, you figure they know how to get it done, right? Because of who they are and the experience they have in the league, you figure they know how to get it done, and they just didn't. So for me, that's probably the biggest disappointment. With the Nets, I just look at all of their injury history, injuries throughout the season and all of that. I expected that they were going to be in the playoffs. I still think they're going to, win and be in the playoffs. So for them being in the play-in, is it surprising? I don't know if it's surprising, just looking at their injury history throughout the season.
Right. And Kyrie not playing most of the season.
Right.
Yeah. But AD didn't play, missed a lot of games for them too. I think their starting 5 only played like 15 games together for the Lakers.
Right.
But I still don't think that team was built right. Even if AD played, maybe they would have made the play. I think they would have made the play-in, but I think they would have still fell short of their goal of winning the championship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's without a doubt. Talking about injuries, I think this might be the first time Kyrie is playing against the Knicks this season, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that the Knicks haven't seen while facing Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first time they both playing too. At the Garden.
Right. Oh wow, the first time ever as Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah,
that they're both playing at the Garden together. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're gonna be up for this game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna be up for it. Obviously, the last few times the Knicks played the Nets, they had James Harden out there. You know what I mean? Obviously, they never got a chance to play with all 3 of them together. Yeah, but this is going to be an interesting one, ladies and gentlemen. My keys to the game for tonight: 1, if you get a lead, hold it. Obviously, the Knicks haven't been able to hold a lead against the Brooklyn Nets. If they get a lead, I think all 3 games that they've played, the Knicks have held a lead. Right? When we did the watch party at Legends, I think they had a lead in that game. Not a big lead, but I believe they had a lead in that game. Obviously, they had a 28-point lead in the next game, and the last game that they played, I think they had a lead.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So hold the lead. They get a lead. Hold the lead, man. Hold the lead.
Simple.
Right. Hold the lead. Do whatever you got to do. Play with pace, space, and movement. The Nets play that way. And the Knicks right now with the squad they have on the floor are kind of designed to play that way too. Mm-hmm. With this team. So let's see if they can consistently throughout the game play with space, pace, and movement. Don't let Andre Drummond dominate inside. And that it just scares me that he will. And I feel like if you have Kyrie and Kevin Durant dominating from the outside and Andre Drummond dominating inside, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
You gotta. So at least if you can shut down the inside, you gotta shut it down. Force them guys to be outside and play on the perimeter and get nothing on the inside. You know, because really, Nick Claxton, you know what I mean, can get some. You know, they can rebound the ball and get some things done inside. But if we can stop them from dominating, especially AD, that's going to help us out tremendously. If not, I think we'll be in trouble. The extra effort on defense, Kyrie and KD, they're both going to attract a lot of attention. And so they're going to kick it out to open shooters. We got to make that effort to get out there to them because they do have some guys that can get hot. Patty Mills can get hot. I don't know. Yeah, Patty Mills can get hot. Who else we got out there? Obviously, Bruce Brown can get hot from three. You know, so they got some guys that can shoot it. Cam Thomas can shoot it. Yeah, they got to make that extra effort on defense and then execute down the stretch. If you get in that situation, execute the best way you can. I know you're going up against Kyrie and KD, and it's going to be hard because you know they're going to execute on the other side of the floor. But, you know, just execute. Execute the best you can, and then you live with the results. Anything you like to add to that, Steph?
Yeah, because I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna play with Tony right now. We talked about how RJ could not necessarily earn his money, but impress the front office. Robinson has that opportunity too, because don't let AD dominate inside has a lot to do with Mitchell Robinson. Mm-hmm. And maybe if he gets outplayed again, it gives the front office pause when it comes to Mitchell Robinson.
That's true.
We shall see. But I agree with you know, all of the you know, the keys that you have right there. But I don't. When you put AD, I was thinking of the Lakers. I was like, that's how much he killing us. He gets his initials. You know,
right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a key, especially as far as Mitchell Robinson is concerned. I will be watching that.
Yeah, yeah. Tony,
I concur. I mean, I think you laid it out, but we gotta be on our A game tonight, and we might need some career performances to pull this one out.
That'd be lovely. That'd be lovely to get a couple of career performances. I like to see Obi have a career performance.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I think Steph read it out to me the other day. Someone said, every time I give Obi a compliment, I got to say something negative. So if Obi has a career performance tonight, I will say nothing negative about Obi Toppin. Nothing. All right, if he has a career night, even if KD drops 50 on him, I won't say anything negative. I promise. I'll only talk about him having a career night. There we go.
Yeah, I'll pick up the other end. From here, I'll pick it up.
Right. All right. We got the crossover at 6:30, right?
Yes. Crossover is at 6:30.
And I'm Knicks and Bruises. I'll be on at 6. A little short one. You know, gotta feed the people.
Okay, I'll join you. Oh, and don't forget to, Sim, if it's all right with you, to subscribe to my channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk.
Oh, definitely.
I need one more subscriber, then I could change my name. Right? You get 100 before you get that custom URL.
Right. Somebody go over there and I'll make sure I put the link in the chat. Get over there to Dope Soul Sports Talk and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, so she can get that 100 subscriber.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. And Tony, you said, what are you doing on Knicks and Bruises?
I'm gonna talk about trades for next year.
Okay.
And my main question right now is I'm trying to figure out, can we pull off a blockbuster trade without including RJ? I've been watching a lot of podcasts, a lot of Bill Simmons is his name, him, a bunch of different guys just throwing out scenarios, saying they think the Knicks are gonna go all in on a trade.
Right.
But everyone seems to be under the impression that we have to include RJ to make a move, to bring in one of the big fish. And my question really is about that. Can we get a significant upgrade without including RJ? Is it possible? So I really want to get the chat's thought on that and what they think about that. Sim, if you're free, you're more than welcome to chime in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much the basis of what I'm talking about tonight. And let it be known that everybody out there, they know the Knicks fans don't want to give up RJ. They're saying it, Knicks fans think RJ is untouchable. So my question is, can we pull something off without including him? I think it's going to be extremely tough.
It would be, but it would be tough. But I also think it would be, I don't want to say a lateral move, but you want to put somebody with RJ, right? You don't want to move RJ. You want to put somebody with RJ.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, yeah.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head up out of here. And as soon as I do, I'm going to put the link to Dope Soul in there. Tony, feel free to, from StreamYard, put the link to Knicks and Bruises so, people can jump on there. Oh, and I do want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that, we've already started planning for the draft party that's going to be in Atlantic City. So please make sure you join us for the draft party. It's going to be dope. We had a great time last year. We expect to have an even better time this year. And obviously the Knicks are going to be in the draft, right? So we got a lot to talk about between now and then. Those who are members, you're going to get a chance to sign up first, probably with a little bit of a discount. Then, after they get a chance to sign up, everybody else will get a chance to sign up. But we want to see you there, June 23rd. That's when that draft party is, June 23rd in Atlantic City, the flagship resort. So make sure you be ready, ladies and gentlemen. That link will be out shortly, probably sometime next week. All right, so make sure you be ready to join it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm up out of here. I appreciate your time. I will see you on the post-game show about 10:15 or so. All right, we out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.